Yes, it's Double9 Raiders 1803 01 04 2023. It's 35NSocial coming through with some amazing dating vibes. We talk about mature dating, as we know. But as you know, people have asked me 35NSocial. Does that mean we're only talking about 35 and over? No, not actually just a term we use here on Double9 Radio to describe the amazing matured minds we have here on the amazing station. But welcome to Double9 Radio. If it's your first time joining us here on Double9 Radio, welcome to the show. I'm so pleased to have you here. It's a family of love. It's a family of vibes. We always spread love and vibes, as you know. But make sure you do tell a friend to tell a friend, and make sure you do follow us on Instagram as well to ensure you get up-to-date information on programs on this amazing station. We also have a YouTube channel where you can listen back to amazing interviews we have on the show. Yes, Double9 is excited today. I'm super excited. We've got an amazing guest host on the show. I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into how she became a host on the show today. But I'll let her introduce herself because I already mentioned her name because I was so super excited. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah, my God, ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that accent as well? She's from the States, you know what I mean? We got her from the States, you know? But anyway, how you doing today, though?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. It's 35NSocial. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today as well. I know you got a great topic for us today. I can't wait to find out more of that topic as well. I think it's something to do with the last time I was on the show. I actually hosted the show, and I want to be, doing a bit of recap on that as well. So what can I say? So you've been listening to Double9 Radio for a while, isn't it?
Yes, I enjoyed the show.
Fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. The backstory is she listened to the episode we had on 35NSocial where we talked about what men look out for in a woman, and she was very attentive to the show, and she said, you know what, I want to talk about the women's side as well because you mentioned a lot of things that men want, and I said, okay, we don't usually have our listeners on the show, but you know what, you seem very passionate about what you want to talk about, so maybe I can speak to the producers and get you on the show. And here she is as well. It's BPJ, ladies and gentlemen. She's coming through and going to be talking on the show today. I'll let you introduce the topic for today's show.
So today we're going to be talking about what do women look for in a man? Like, what do women look out for in a man?
That's such $1 million question. If I knew the answer to that question, I think I'll probably be a billionaire because what I'll do, I'll open up a store and just let men come in and say, all right, listen, mate, this is it, but you have to pay me as well. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I can start opening up a shop or a phone line to maybe get all those answers as well. I'm getting my pen and paper ready to get all the information as well. Sorry, BPJ, again, tell us a bit about yourself, though. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, well, as you said, I'm from the States, Georgia to be exact. I'm actually a social researcher. So I research topics that are relevant to our society, right?
Okay.
And this is a very relevant topic to our society. What do women look out for men? Look out for in men?
Fantastic. That's really good to know as well. It's good to get people who are so passionate about questions or things like this because a lot of us don't talk about it enough here as well. So it is great to know. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we had a bit of an echo there as well, but we resolved it as well. Technical things do happen. But yeah, BPJ, you're so passionate when you listen to the show about what men look out for in women.
Yeah.
Did you agree with a lot of the points on there, or did you have some points you disagreed with as well?
You know what? I agreed with some points. I disagreed with some points. I felt like the women, they needed to be represented as well. Okay.
Yeah.
I've had an opportunity to talk to a lot of women, and we have our things we're looking out for as well. So
I know. Should I be scared, ladies and gentlemen? Should I be worried today? Because it's like I hosted the show because we didn't have Lady B on the show at that time. I hosted the show, and it got her so passionate that she wanted to talk about it. I'm so excited for that. I want to know. So let's start with the basic question.
Mm-hmm.
What do women look out for? I keep taking on my man. What do women look out for in a man? What's that number one thing?
Oh, I don't know if I can say the number one thing. And, I can't speak for all women, but, one of the things I hear a lot is finances, financial stability. Women are really looking out, especially over 30, for financial stability in a man. You see, we're in a time now where women are really financially stable. They're able to work. They're able to build wealth themselves. So, they're looking for partners, life partners who can match that, or exceed it. So that's one thing.
Okay, I mean,
Mm.
so when I hear finances, it's like I have this, bars in my mind as a, ladies talking about finances, and it's so. I mean, man, I know some men are listening to me out there. As I mentioned, the phone lines are open straight away. It's 074 956 36899. That's 074 956 36899. You can call us direct on that number or call by WhatsApp as well. I mean, again, so when I hear finances,
Yeah,
you mentioned 2 points there. You said, women, you're looking for individuals who can match their finances or provide a bit more. Okay,
exactly.
right. So why is it that why was that the first thing you mentioned?
Well, I'm not going to say it's the most important thing, but it is important.
Yeah.
Over 50% of the marriages in the United States of America end because of finances.
Okay.
So the financial aspect of a relationship is important. We can't ignore that, right?
No.
So I feel like, especially the older we get, we understand the importance of finances. Like it adds to the quality of life, right?
Yeah.
So women are looking for someone who can add to their quality of life, just like a man is looking for someone who can add to his quality of life. You can't do that without finances. That's just the
Yeah.
reality of the situation.
Okay, I agree. We're not gonna, stay too much on this part because we've got quite a lot of things to cover as well. But there's the point here is, we talk about finances. You're quite right. Financial, stability is very important in a relationship.
Hmm.
Boyfriend, girlfriend, life partner, as you mentioned as well. Um, but do we, have to make that as a thing in a relationship? What happened to
Mm.
building together? Do women look at potential of an individual to say
Yeah.
maybe this guy has the potential? Because I'm going to give you a couple of examples
Okay.
as well. And look at what social media is saying out there at the moment, because it's quite interesting. You started with finances. I actually like you started with finances
Yeah.
because it seems that that's the most important thing now. In today's society, like people look for that financial, stability before anything else. Am I correct in saying that?
Oh, well, I can't say before anything else. No, I don't think
From your
that's fair.
from your perspective,
No, I don't think that's fair. I don't think
no,
that's the number one thing women look for. I just think it's important.
it is important. Okay, so if a man is not, so you talk about match at a bit higher than a woman,
I said match or be a bit higher, yes.
a bit higher. Okay, so in circumstances where the woman is earning a bit more
Mm-hmm.
than the man,
Mm-hmm.
would that be a problem for the woman to go into that relationship?
I can't speak for all women, but I don't think it's a problem. I think that you can be financially stable without earning more
Okay.
than your partner if you're the male.
Okay.
But there are women who are so like set and so goal oriented, and they're accomplishing those goals, and there are men who actually come into the situation
Uh-huh.
with little to no contribution.
Of course.
Those are the individuals that we are saying no, 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 no.
Okay. I love that point you just made.
Yeah.
You said they come into the situation with
Mhm.
little or no contribution.
Right.
But this is almost a norm looking at it from the female side, because a lot of females want to sit back and say, you know what, I want you to provide for me.
Mhm.
I want you to do this A, B, and C for me,
Mhm.
kind of thing. I mean, what do you say to that? If you say, I'm not, I would never, condone an individual or a man who's lazy and just sitting down and don't want to do anything or provide
Right.
for his woman.
Yeah.
But we need to kind of like, balance it out a bit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Although today's show is not about trying to not to find out what women want as well. I need to make sure because
Yeah.
it feels like I'm a bit excited. I'm excited, but it was not my fault. I'm starstruck. What can I say? But I just want to get, from the perspective of a man, because I didn't have this last week. I didn't have people just having conversations. But you mentioned some men, which is, I don't condone that,
Uh-huh.
but women do that as well, where they just come into a relationship and expect everything to be done for them. Is that acceptable as well? Is that
No, you know what? I wouldn't say it's acceptable. And there's something else that I think is important. I think every man and woman has to set what works for them,
good?
right? And
Love
and,
that.
and I think that most women don't come into the situation, even if they are not financially where the man is, they don't come into the situation providing nothing, right? They may provide something else
Uh-huh.
that is very significant, very helpful, But when we talk about men who are not financially stable, they usually come in, not all the time, not all men, but they come in with nothing else,
Okay, apart from one thing.
Apart from,
Okay.
this is daytime radio, right?
Okay, yes.
One thing.
Yeah.
So, that it's not necessarily about equality, equity, like we want to make sure that there's give and take, there's reciprocity in this relationship.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good point. It's a good point, and I love the angle you've taken it as well. To have, you don't want to bum, basically. You don't want to bum, as
right?
A man
and I don't, and I want to be a bum. I don't think most women that I've talked to want to be a bum,
right?
Okay. For a man, they want to provide something. Maybe it's not the finances, but they want to provide something.
Okay, fine. Okay, finances. I think we'll leave it there for now.
Okay.
But I feel like I'm still going to come back to it as well. It's such an exciting topic. So, I mean, what other things do, because, I'm about to start maybe a service now. So I need you to tell me all this stuff, because women are like, they're hard to read sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
You never know what a woman wants. But if you could find out what a woman wants, blimey, mate, you'd be a millionaire or something. Do you know what I mean? So what other things, we talk about finances, what other things do women look out for in a man?
I think a lot of women are really looking out for honesty, honesty and faithfulness. Now, here's the thing. We're not saying that everyone's going to be monogamous. Some people are just not naturally monogamous, right?
Yeah, the same men are not naturally monogamous.
Yeah. And that can be understandable. But I think what the problem is that men keep entering into monogamous relationships.
Okay.
With their polygamous type mindset.
Okay.
And so I think women are really looking out for men to just be honest about who they are.
Right.
If you're not a one woman type of man, then say that. There are actually women who are freely participating in polygamy now, more than ever in history, except for probably, BC times,
Yeah.
So I think men just have to let go of that mindset that, I'll lose every woman I talk to if I tell her that I can't be with just one woman,
Okay. I mean, it's a good point. Again, honesty about being whether you're a monogamy type of individual, polygamy is your thing. But again, we look at social media.
Yeah.
Social media is like a battlefield where a lot of people post things, and women are very emotional as well, isn't it?
True.
And a lot of things are posted by supposed influencers who. I always say influencers. You never know what happens behind the camera. You only see what happens on the camera. We'll post a lot of things about it's I can't do that. Do you know what I mean? It has to be just one man. Da 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 da. I can't do this, can't do that. But you find out that actually a side chick is someone else. But anyway, that's another topic for another time. Anyway, so but the thing here is, into this society, do you think a man being honest with a woman to say, you know what, I like you. Yeah. You're my number one.
Right.
But I wanted to have something on the side. Do you think that could work?
I don't think it will work for every woman, but I think there are women it will work for. And I think men have to stop taking away women's choices, as far as saying, I'm going to decide for her that she cannot deal with a polygamous relationship, so I'm going to lie.
Wow.
That has to stop.
I need help. Where are the men out there? I mean, I hear that. But I think the society, again, doesn't allow men to be able to do that, because they're already crucified in a way, to say, you know what, I don't want that, because they're thinking, no, I can't tell her that. But do you, I'm trying to make this about men at all today, but it's just really hard as well. Okay, honesty. And what else did you say? I
said honesty and faithfulness, because if you're going to enter into a monogamous relationship, then you need to be faithful.
Yes, hand in hand, isn't it?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Let me throw a bit of a spanner in the works.
Okay.
Kind of thing there. I mean, so what qualities do the woman look for in a man? We talked about things around finances, honesty, but let's talk about other type of qualities where before you meet a man, before you actually have that conversation with a man. So you've seen a man possibly across the hall, in a restaurant, in a social gathering. I mean, what are qualities are you looking at for that man to say, all right, please come and talk to me? In your head, you're thinking, that's the one, come and talk to me. Because for men, I'll tell you, give an example.
Okay.
So for men, we as individuals really focus on the physicality at first.
Right.
Men have different physical preferences in women.
Okay.
Some love the hourly glass type thing. Some love skinny. Da da da. Da. It just depends, right?
Yeah.
So that's for men. That's what we look at before we go and say, oh my god, we're gonna try and have a word, have a conversation or have a word with her or something. So what qualities do women look at or look for and say, oh my gosh, he's all right.
Yeah, I think we're very similar as to, like physical characteristics, and physical attraction is subjective, right?
Okay.
So it depends on the woman. Some women are looking for the tall, dark, and handsome.
Mhm.
Some women may be looking for more slender build guys. Some are looking for more athletic build. It's just subjective. It's what that person's preference is.
Yeah.
But we also want to be physically attracted to whomever we're going to pursue something further with. So we are looking to see, are we attracted to that person?
Right.
I've heard a lot of women just they look at hygiene and of course that's not all physical. It's also smell and all of these different
Yeah, it's
types of
part of it.
senses.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they look at how well a man is kept.
Mm.
It's not so dependent. Some care about height, some don't, but some just care about how well do you keep yourself.
Mm.
Are you neat?
Mm.
Are your
Mm.
jeans up? At this your big age.
At your big age, yeah. Okay.
How are
Okay.
your shoes? It's subjective though.
Okay. I mean, I think because you say physical, okay, physical, but I think there's a different dimension to the physicality, isn't it? I think because yes, I think men possibly you can't really tell hygiene from men's because men when they see stuff there's hypnotic they're hypnotized already.
Yeah.
And they can't maybe think of anything else kind of thing.
Yeah, the physical matters probably more to men than it does to women.
Okay, I wanna because you see I'm learning here, right?
Okay.
So you talk about women, they look at the physicality, these are tall, dark, and handsome. Do they look at chubby and fat or anything? Or it depends,
Mm.
or muscular and all of that. So a woman who's not, I'm just putting that out there.
Okay.
A woman who doesn't have that hourglass, yeah, should she expect to be able to date a muscular person?
I mean, you know what? I can't say whether or not she should expect it. I think it just depends.
Mm.
If a woman who doesn't have that hourly glass figure attracts a muscular man, then that was just her destiny, right?
Okay.
I think.
But we should feel
Mm-hmm.
that she's been she has the honesty because you talk about the honesty and faithfulness.
Yeah.
Because now you're talking about a six-pack guy, six pack.
Okay.
Tall, dark, and handsome. Let's paint it out there. I think Double9 looks like that. Who knows? Tall, dark, and handsome, and and he's dating, or she's dating. The lady's not, no hourglass and all of that.
Yeah.
Would she have that rest of mind and think, oh, he's been honest and faithful to me, kind of thing?
I mean.
Yeah, because we're talking about this is what you're looking at for in a woman. Yeah,
right.
Because now you see what I've just done there. So the desire, yeah, the desire is this.
But if the man doesn't have that desire towards her, that physical attraction, then why even stop her? Why approach her?
No, we would have the desire. As I said, man is physical.
Yeah.
See, man is physical first.
Mm-hmm.
That's physicality then evolves to just being now very emotional. A lot of emotions just go in. Then that emotion can either then evolve into a stage where he doesn't want to look anywhere else. But the first thing is the physicality that happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think for women, it's the emotion that happens first.
Right, because we're different. So I think that's something else too. Men have to learn to respect the fact that men and women are different.
Of course.
Right, we are not the same. Okay.
Not all men know that, but anyway, yeah.
And not all women know that, to be fair, So, men love from the outside in typically.
Yeah.
And women love from the inside out typically. Like we are more concerned typically about your inner characteristics and things like that. But if a woman who is not the typical, standard of beauty attracts,
I love that. That's good.
Attracts a man who is what is considered handsome in society, then he owes her the faithfulness he promised her. That's all I say.
He owes her the faithfulness. I need to make a note. I don't know about owes her.
Yeah, he does, because you know what? If he enters into a monogamous situation and says, "Look, I'm going to be faithful to you," it doesn't matter what she looks like.
Yeah.
That's his word. So now it's about a man standing on his word. right? So if he wants to be a man who stands on his word, he needs to do that. If he cannot be faithful to her, he knew what she looked like when he approached her, then maybe not enter into such situation. That's all I'm suggesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, again, I don't want to dwell too much because I'm making notes, ladies and gentlemen. Man, if you're listening to me, reach out to me later, but there's a charge, mate. You know what I mean? I ain't getting too free. Anyway, so tell me, okay, we've talked about finances, we talked about honesty and faithfulness, and I asked a question about qualities, and you talk about it's subjective, isn't it? It's subjective. A woman could just be looking at the hygiene. Some people look at the physical appearance. And it depends, it's on a woman, so that's it's not set in stone, basically. So what else do women look out for in men?
Women are really looking now for men. I never thought I would get to a point where we would say this, but just through my conversations I've had with women, they're looking for men who are emotionally stable. You mentioned earlier that women are the emotional ones, but it seems like men are losing control of their emotions. They are demanding things to be brought to a fictional table. I'm hearing on first dates asking women, what do they bring to some table that doesn't exist? Can you imagine?
Fictional table, she says. Okay. Fictional table. That's a new one. I'm adding that to my vocabulary there. Okay.
They are they are becoming they're becoming rather demanding in relationships in areas they were not demanding before. So we know that, as time evolves, we grow, we learn, but men are requesting traditional things from women while not being traditional men. And that's becoming confusing. You know, they are requesting, I hear the word on social media a lot, submissiveness and things like that, while also demanding that they be sent flowers and they be pursued. I've heard it. No, Double 9, I've heard it.
I don't know about that one. You're making things up tonight.
Double 9, I'm not making these things up.
Men asking for flowers. Are they all right?
I have. Men are now saying they know their worth.
What? Okay,
they need flowers.
I can agree to the point like men would say they know their worth, but flowers, like, what's the word turning to? What's happening?
I think what it is that they're just trying to make a point that they want to feel pursued, but men are naturally the hunters, right?
Of course.
In traditional settings, and I'm speaking to the men who want traditionalism, if that's a word, from women.
Yeah.
They are men are naturally hunters, so we're still waiting to be pursued. We're the prey,
Okay. Okay, so you want to be pursued. Okay, so now the first point you made was you want men who are emotionally stable.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I you know what? I'm not going to use the word agree. I would just say you have a point because it's not my place to say I want to agree or disagree because it's coming from a woman's perspective or what you're looking for in a man. Okay, which is fine. Emotional stable is very important. Mm-hmm. I've talked about it on the radio here on this platform, quite a number of times as well, where individuals who might be narcissistic, in nature, or have other mental issues, can be a very horrible thing, to be in a relationship with. No, sorry, that came out wrong. Sorry about that. It could be a horrible, situation if you want to be in that type of relationship. Emotionally stability, yes, I agree. I don't want to go into too much of that, but the thing you mentioned is the fictional table.
Mm-hmm.
You say men on the first dates. It's prompting me again because I gave this example. I don't know if you listened to my example I gave about the this is not, it didn't happen to me. We said we're going to be doing third party, but this is someone actually happened to as well. I don't know if you listened to about the guy that went on a date, and we're going to come back to that. So you talk about this fictional table that men are talking about that on the first date. I wouldn't say I agree.
Mm-hmm.
You don't talk about things like that on the first date because it's not a transactional relationship. It's a relationship is you're trying to get to know the person.
Yeah, you have to let things grow organically.
Exactly. You have to because if you start talking about what you're bringing to the table, it's like you're sending the wrong signals. What we're talking about. Are you not the first one? Are you not financially okay? You can't match my finances or something, things like that. We're gonna go back to that finance again as well because that's very exciting because things are just dropping in my head as we talk. So when men talk about table, is that something that puts women off?
Yeah, I think it's time for them to change that verbiage. I've heard a lot of women express, just their discontent with the "what are you bringing to the table" question.
Mm.
I think if you're genuinely getting to know someone over time, you'll get a good understanding of what they bring to the table, as they will what you bring from the table.
Okay.
It's not a first or second date question. It's very off-putting.
Okay. Do we think it's because women now tend to demand certain things be done um, for them? Do you think that's why there's this mindset change from a man's perspective? What I mean by demand, I'm talking about things around you have to a woman say, okay, you have to take me to a 5-star restaurant on my first day.
Mhm.
You have to you know buy me this present before I even talk to you, or you have to put money in my account before I have a conversation with you. Do you
Mhm.
think that's why men are now having this mindset of asking, okay, if I were to be doing that for you,
Yeah.
what is it that I'm getting from you as well? It's almost like you know the initiating the transaction,
Mhm.
and now we talk about, okay, what's coming from you then? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think that men weaponize the question because it's a defense mechanism, right? Maybe they've run into some women, right? Not all of them, of course, who have said, I demand this on the first date or this type of treatment. But I think the better solution to that is not to deal with those women. Why would you even question them further about what they can bring? Obviously, they bring a lot of headache. So that's not what you want. Perhaps you should just leave them there and go on to sensible women. When you meet sensible women,
Mm.
though, don't make them pay for the mistakes of the other women that you dated.
Likewise for women as well.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. We as adults we have to stop making people pay for mistakes that they didn't make. So I think that the better solution is just to leave those type of women alone instead of going into the next situation and saying, "What do you bring to the table?" Yeah, a lot of women are tired of hearing that. Though, and I'm like, they just really want to hear some different verbiage from men.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, I think you make a good point there about don't punish or um, you know bring what you left the baggage from the old engagement onto the new person you're meeting as well. I think that goes both ways as well. Okay, so we talked about finances, honesty, faithfulness, emotional stability. I
Hmm.
think that's very important as well. And you mentioned about, okay, so this point, because there's a bit of contradiction,
Okay.
and the reason I say that because you talk about traditional men
Hmm.
and you talk about the submissiveness point of view as well.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're looking at traditional men, as you mentioned, um, doesn't a traditional man expect a woman to be submissive to him, or am I missing something?
I mean, again, I think that's something between that man and woman to decide. I don't think if a man is traditional and he has a certain expectancy from a woman that is also traditional, I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that, and I don't think most women do.
Okay, I saw what you did there. Ladies and gentlemen, BPJ, she's coming with some intelligence here. She snuck in the word if the woman is traditional, but we didn't say that. We just talked about the submissiveness of point of
uh,
view because you said traditional men. Women want traditional men, right?
a lot do not all.
Not all, most
Yeah,
women.
yeah.
Can we say most women?
Uh,
Okay,
I don't have the stats on that.
what is your definition of a traditional man? Oh, from your perspective,
Okay, so through research, traditional men are seen as the breadwinners.
though. Okay.
They're seen as protectors, fathers. Finances are a part of it,
Uh-huh.
of course. Being providers. They are fathers. They are leaders.
Uh-huh.
Um, that is typically associated with traditional men.
Okay,
Those characteristics.
I agree. And what do you think are the characteristics of traditional women?
Okay. Again, research shows that most men view traditional women as being submissive. And that word takes on different definitions depending
Okay.
on who you're talking to, who you're
Yeah.
speaking with. Also, they see women doing more traditional roles that were historically associated with the female counterparts of relationships, which are like cooking, cleaning, raising the children, etc.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, we're just going to take a short break now, be back on the other side because I think I got more questions as well. I need a breather as well. I've learned a lot of things. I need to take some notes as well. But in the meantime, stay locked on, stay locked in. We're going to be back with BPJ coming through with a lot of things of what women look out for in a man. And Double9 taking notes and also asking questions. In the meantime, stay locked on, stay locked in. Shall be back right after this.
Across the UK and worldwide. Do tell a friend to tell a friend. Double9 Radio.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's 1835-0104-2023. No, it's not April Fool's joke. We are definitely talking about what women look out for in men. And we've had a lot of things here with the amazing PPJ all the way from the States, giving all the vibes as well. I'm so excited to have her on the show. And I've learned quite a number of things as well. I think I'm going to write a book as well. Watch out in space. Is that an April Fool's joke? Who knows? Watch out in space as well. So we talked about, things women look out for in a man. We talked about finances. She talked about, they have to be a match or maybe to, maybe even earn more than you or than a lady as well. She talked about honesty and being faithful as well. Very important as well. And I asked a question about what are the characteristics that women look out for when you see a man across the room. She said, it's very subjective. It depends on the woman as well. But she mentioned things like hygiene, which I think is quite amazing as well, because hygiene is very important. You don't want to be going around with a smelly armpit or smelly doggy, but mate. Yeah, oh
Please
my God.
don't.
I know. Oh, and then she talked about tall, dark, and handsome as well. I don't know. Maybe she's trying to describe Double9 there. Who knows? Anyway, and also you talk about the emotional stability. I think that's quite important because you don't want to be going around with a nutter around in a restaurant or anywhere else as well, because there are quite weird people out there as well. As you mentioned, the fictional table. I was a bit like, fictional table. Yes, we talk about that as well, but she made a bit of a clarity onto it as well, talking about traditional men and traditional women. Again, I think she says, it depends on the agreement between both partners as well. BPJ, welcome back to the show. It's been exciting already, but I still got more questions. You're not going to get away that easy. Okay, so we're talking about finances. We're going to come back to that as well. I think that's a very big topic as well. So what else do women out there, the lovely queens, sisters, mothers, beautiful ones, look out for them, man, because I'm sure quite a number of men are listening and making a note. And I said I want to write a book. Who knows? I'm not giving you any credits on that. Sorry.
Okay.
So tell us, what else do women look out for?
You know what? Women are looking out for men who are goal aligned. So what I mean by that is like, if a woman is looking for marriage, then she wants a man who's also looking for marriage. There are women who are not looking for marriage. There are women who are not looking to be mothers. They want a man who is aligned with them when it comes to their goals. And I think that back to that honesty aspect, women are more comfortable, stating what their goals are. And men take on this kind of conforming role as to
Conform to what the woman wants.
exactly, and sometimes even for the lack of a better term, pretend.
Right.
Pretend they want marriage. Pretend they want the family or what have you. What are your true goals in life? Women are really looking for men to align themselves with the goals that they have, or to say in the beginning, you know what, that's not what I'm working towards, so maybe this isn't a good fit.
Okay. I like the point you made. I'm not gonna again say whether men pretend or not, because I don't know. I can't speak for every man. But there's one I want to go back a couple of steps as
Okay.
well, where you mentioned that when we talk about things about what you bring to the table,
Mm-hmm.
you said that it's important to let things organically grow.
True.
So when it comes to goal alignment,
Mm-hmm.
do you think goal alignment should be allowed to organically grow as well? Do you or do you, because you mentioned that you have to ask the question
Mm-hmm.
that is this what you're looking for? Men are less of they're scared of commitment. Let's put it that way. So do you think that maybe that's why to use your word, pretend, men will pretend that way, or do you think women should let those kind of things organically grow? Because I know, great, it's good to be goal orientated.
Mm-hmm.
Even men, we want that as well.
Yeah.
But sometimes we get jitters and cold feet. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's talking about kids already. Oh my god, But sometimes with another woman,
Mm-hmm.
we feel comfortable with that. But the thing is, it doesn't mean that if we don't talk about it right then and there, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. But do you think women should sometimes maybe let that organically grow as well? Just using that analogy of the table where you said, things should organically grow and they would know what they're bringing to the table, back and forth kind of thing. So I'm just going to create a picture, for my notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that we can grow organically together, but our goals, our long-term goals should be aligned. Okay.
Mhm.
And we can grow towards those goals together.
Mhm.
Because here's the thing, right? If you're going this way, left, and I'm going right,
Yeah.
then no matter how far we grow together, we'll grow in different directions.
True.
Right. So we need to make sure we're going in the same direction.
Mhm.
That has nothing to do with a fictional table. Okay. When a man is asking what do you bring to the table, he's not typically asking you what are your life goals, because we wouldn't have a problem with that question.
Mhm.
But when you're talking about goals like, do you want to be married or not? If a man enters into a situation and he knows a woman wants to be married and he says, okay, I want to be married.
Yeah.
But he's still trying to grow on the idea of marriage and commitment.
So do you ask this
That's
on the
unfair.
first date or second date, or when do you ask this question?
I'm not sure when women
Because we need to be clear on this, because we know this is what women are looking
Yeah.
out for in a man.
I don't know when women typically ask the question. I think it's an important question to ask sooner rather than later
Mhm.
if you're dating with the goal of marriage.
Yeah.
But I don't know when most women ask the question. No, I don't know.
Okay.
So yeah, I just think that there are a lot of men
Mhm.
entering into situations where they know women want to be married, they want to have children, and et cetera, and they know that that is not one of their
One of
long-term goals.
One of them goals. Okay.
But they enter anyway because they're interested physically in the
Yeah.
woman, or interested in something else, another attribute that she brings.
Mhm.
And then the relationship just, it doesn't make it because
Okay. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the things, other things, I think I've spoken about on the show is sometimes, I don't want to, I'm trying not to, diverge away, but I need to say this quickly.
Mm.
Do you think sometimes women also would stay in that relationship knowing fully well the guy's goals of marriage is not set yet? He's probably unsure, and they're staying there trying to change his mind. Kind of
Yeah.
thing. Is that something would women, do they look at that as well and think as a potential? I know the word potential is a key word for you, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I actually, that's something I do agree with you. That's an area that, from the conversations and the research I've done with most women, that women need to change and grow in.
Yeah.
As far as they are, if a man does bring that type of honesty, saying that he is not ready for this or not looking for that, they will stay in the relationship hoping to change the man. That's never healthy for anyone in the relationship.
Yeah.
So I do think that women need to have accountability for their part as well. And I do think a lot of women do that. Yes, to be honest.
Okay.
The word potential, though,
I know.
you use that word potential a couple of times.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna come back to it.
Okay.
I think let's leave the financial part to the towards the end of the show, because it's such a big one, isn't it? Such a big one.
Okay.
As well. So what are the things? So we talked about finances, honesty, being faithful, emotional stability, goal aligned. What else do women want?
Women are reporting that men don't know how to date anymore.
I could agree in a minute.
They don't know how to date. Like, I should tell a story.
Please.
I should tell a story about a woman I know who went on a date with a man, and he yelled across the restaurant to the waiter to ask how much was the buffet to make sure
Oh my God.
that it was affordable. And
He yelled
across the restaurant, and the woman reported being so embarrassed.
Oh my God.
And that's quite embarrassing, because if you're dating with intention, if you intend on, he invited her for a first date, and if you intend on paying for that date, you can actually do some research and check the prices beforehand. So he yelled across the restaurant, and then when she booked her Uber home,
Yeah.
which was quite a distance away from the restaurant, which is 40 minutes, he asked could he could he accompany her in the Uber, and he did not financially contribute to the Uber. So, men are losing chivalry. They're losing a lot of their dating sense. And women are reporting that it's not friendly out here in these streets, Double9.
I mean, there's no excuse. I could say, or contribute to what like I did. I think that's a new one for me. Even a buffet, who takes a girl to a buffet? Double 9 doesn't do that, mate. I'm telling you, like, ladies on Double 9 doesn't do that. Take a girl to a buffet. Do you know
It
what I
was
mean?
a buffet, yeah.
If it's a girl, probably you're engaged or you've been together for like 10 years, but it's a date because you use the keyword dating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no wrong going to a buffet, but if you're dating someone, I don't think a buffet it's a appropriate place or again, you know what, it's subjective. They like it, they like it. But the thing is, you don't shout across the table,
Across the restaurant,
across the
even.
restaurant, and ask how much is it, and your date is right there. I think that's quite shocking as well. It is shocking. I mean, I think the girl was quite patient as well. But the point, I always have my points.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that because I'm very observant. What can I say? You said that men, because I gave an example of men who deal with demanding females,
Mm-hmm.
and don't deal with them. That's what you said. Move away.
Yeah.
So in this case as well, if because anyone that's got that kind of like mentality of being able to shout across a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
will have displayed some kind of traits which would lead you to deduce that this individual could be like that.
But it was the first date.
It was the first date. She
It was
comes
the
back
first
with
date.
me as a first date.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she didn't deal with him any further.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I think that's shocking. Okay, so dating. A lot of men don't know how to date anymore as well. I mean, I don't know what to say to that. I think, again, I don't want to be blaming everything on social media as well. But, I mean, what is your idea of a date? Or what will be, from your perspective,
I think a lot of women are just looking for the traditionalism of, if you invite me on a date, you invited me, right? So let's
Here we go.
let's start there. If you invite a woman on a date, then you're going to cater for things that pertain to that date, as far as how she gets to the date, her food on the date, if you're going to a restaurant, because you invited her. Now I know there's a lot of debates about who pays for the dates and et cetera, et cetera. And again, I think that part is really subjective and it depends on the people. But if we want to just start with basic courtesy,
Yeah.
you invited her,
Okay.
so you should cater. Per most women that I've spoken to,
Yeah.
and my own personal beliefs, you should cater
Uh-huh.
to the date you invited her to.
Okay.
Making sure she gets home safely. And if you want to just throw a little extra razzle dazzle in there, text her.
Mm.
And just tell her how much you enjoyed the evening if you did, and
Yeah.
can't wait to see her again. We're losing that, and men don't understand that it's really setting them back as far as how women are viewing them.
Okay. I mean, I couldn't agree more. It's very important because you go on a date because you go on a date is to get to know the person and you have some feelings for that individual which you want to explore and build on and hopefully it becomes a relationship and you want to pull out all the stops. But my thing again is if the date doesn't go well, should the guy still pay for the date?
Yeah, because he invited her.
Because he invited her.
So he'll just have to see. The thing is also, under what circumstances did he invite her to the date? Like, what was his pre-qualifying conditions before he decided to invite someone to a date and spend money on them? So I think that's another thing that men are reporting. We're paying for dates that are not going well. Well, no one made you invite her, and maybe you need a better screening process before you invite people out.
Okay, I mean, you got that point there. A better screening process. I mean, I've heard horror stories of men who've gone on dates. To summarize, one quite recently where an individual, again, if you're listening, I'm sorry, I'm not mentioning your name. Individual went on a date and took her out to dinner. He spent ridiculous amount of money because he took her to a fancy restaurant, and they decided to go to a club, right? So in the club now, he went to the toilet.
Okay.
To the gent, sorry. And by the time he got back, she's talking to someone else.
What do you mean by talking to someone else?
We know what we're talking about. She's talking to someone else, and he was a bit disgusted because he possibly put her on a pedestal, saying, she's all right, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he never went back to the lady, and he just, kind of stayed away,
Yeah.
kind of thing. He behaved like a gentleman
Okay.
in that way. So because he could turn ugly and say, okay, you know what, you pay me back my 50%, blah blah blah. But the thing there is, again, the dating thing. I think I'm not making excuses for men, but I think women also go on dates for the freebies they can get on the dates.
With women earning the most money they've ever earned in history, I don't think as many women as men try to say are going on dates for free meals. I mean, I can't speak for all women, but I am a woman. I also have a women's group, a social group that I run, and of course I have female friends, and all of them are doing well. I don't think women are going on dates for free meals. I just don't.
Okay, so what else are those kind of women looking for then?
I mean, we're just looking for some. You know what? I spoke to a woman who said she's looking for a man who actually likes women, and what she means by that is that so many men, I think, because of social media, are, it's almost as if when you converse with them, even on a date, it's like they have a chip on their shoulder, like almost like they hate women. I don't know who's rejected them, who's turned them down in the past.
Yeah.
But we're looking for that, sensibility again from men. I think women are looking for that relatability where they feel that men actually desire to be in their presence and not just to use them for, whatever,
Yeah.
But they're looking for men who actually like the company and the presence of women.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. She almost got me dumbfounded that I couldn't even say a word there because it is true. You have to have the likeness, or you want to be in the presence of that woman, and want to impress her and take her out and have a good time. And you mentioned social media again, because social media is so important in relationships today as well. What do you think women expect too much from men during the dating times?
No, I think women should not be asked to lower their expectancies, and men should not be asked to rise to what they feel like are unrealistic expectancies. So, like, if you feel like what a woman expects from a man, a specific woman, is something that's unrealistic, you shouldn't deal with that woman. And if a woman feels that a man is not bringing the level of expectancy she has for, a potential partner, she shouldn't deal with that man. So many things can be saved by people actually dating people they're compatible with. I think we're losing, the point of compatibility. People are just dating to convince people to believe how they believe. Date someone who feels the way you feel. And a lot of men, I have to say this, Double9, especially on social media.
Okay.
A lot of men are degrading women that I've seen in comment sections on these blogs, these, social blogs. They are degrading women for having a high level of expectancy from men. And I just don't understand that. Why won't you just find a woman who matches your mindset and what you think that a woman should expect from a man? Why try to convince a woman who expects more that she should accept you? That really triggers me.
Because we're hunters.
So you want the most difficult prey. You want to bring the woman down to your level.
No. It's not bringing the woman down to the level. We acknowledge the fact that men are hunters, isn't it?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So we're hunters.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to. I need to be careful here before all the women come for me. But we're hunters, and we want to entice and nurture. In the traditional way. I'm not talking about the bombs that just date women for certain things. We want to nurture, we want to encourage, we want to show love and all of that. So we go for, the ones that sometimes seem impossible. Okay?
Yeah.
But we talk about compatibility and expectations.
Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand, right? So you might be compatible with someone, but your expectations are actually hindering you to see that compatibility. So how do you overcome that? Because social media, okay, let's put social media aside. let's talk about how women think that, because I'm getting those vibes from you now, because you say you know we don't want to lower expectations, we don't want to go down, blah blah blah, but you're compatible with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it yourself, but the expectations you have, because society has told you this is the expectation you should have as a woman, as a black beautiful woman. This is the expectations you have. Because if and society has told you that if you lower that expectation, that means you are no more a woman. Is that right?
I disagree. I don't think if your expectations are not being met, I don't think you're compatible.
Is it?
Yeah. I think that we have to first, look at what compatibility means. And I don't think that a person who doesn't meet the expectations you have in dating is actually someone you're compatible with.
Well, your compatibility could be artificial. Sorry, your expectations could be artificial.
What do you mean by that? Just
Because your
so I have
expectations could
clarity.
be something. Oh, my friend, when she started dating this guy, they went on a 5-star holiday.
Okay.
When I start dating, Mr. A, I expect him to take me on a 5-star holiday.
Well,
That's an expectation, isn't it?
that is an expectation.
Because you feel that this is where you are now. This is a category of where you are.
Hmm.
But you're overlooking the compatibility.
I think what you're trying to say is you're overlooking other areas you can be compatible in. But that is a major area you're not compatible in because your expectations are not being met. So what you feel you deserve, he doesn't feel you deserve. So that's a level of compatibility you all don't have. You may have other levels of compatibility. You may have the same favorite color. You may like the same music. But a very important one is being treated the way you feel you deserve to be treated. So if he doesn't, and I'm not saying I agree with being expecting to be taken on a 5-star holiday, okay? But you used an extreme case, so I'm going to stay with the example you gave, right? If a person, whatever it is, doesn't meet your expectancy, then there's a level of compatibility missing, and it's an important level.
Okay. So the question, we're going to move on quickly.
Okay.
But before we move on, that level of expectation, is it a level you can afford yourself?
Again,
That's a question that a lot of women don't answer.
yeah, I can't speak for all women. I think there are women making demands of things they cannot afford, but again, I've met so many who can. I've met so many who can. They can afford to take themselves on 5-star holidays, which is why they have that level of expectancy from a man. Because why would I go on a holiday lesser than what I can afford for myself?
Okay, fine. I love this conversation. So they can afford to take themselves
Hmm.
on holiday, yes, but because a man is unable to take them on that 5-star holiday,
Hmm.
but are compatible on other aspects of the being,
Hmm.
does that mean they can't build a relationship?
No, it doesn't actually. We should look at compatibility like a pie chart, right? And we are this percentage compatible here and this percentage compatible there. And you decide what you can live with. No individual is going to be perfect, right? But you have to have your non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable.
So I express to women,
I'm going to find out what that means, lads. Yes.
I express to women that when you're dating, you should set a number of non-negotiables. And this is your list. It's great to write it down, but most people will, retain it mentally.
Okay.
When you meet a man, you may have your preferences. These are not the same as non-negotiables. When you meet a man, if he passes all of your non-negotiable checks, meaning that, he's not failing in any of those areas, then everything else can be worked around. Perhaps you want a man that's 6'3", but this man is 5'6", right? But all of your non-negotiables he meets. Work around the height. If the height is on your non-negotiable list, then you can't work around it. But if it's not on your non-negotiable list, if it's just a preference, work around it. That's the advice I give to women.
Okay, but do you think all women are patient enough to look at it from this point, which is an amazing point? Do you think women who are out there, looking out for a man they can date, have this level of patience to put down a list of non-negotiables and say, you know what, this I'm going to look at? But I don't, because I'm not seeing that out there.
Yeah, I think historically women have proven to be more patient than men. They're typically the child bearers and raisers, so that requires a level of patience all in itself. But I think that women are being patient whether they want to or not, because good men are hard to find.
Mm.
So it's better to use the time wisely while you're waiting. And one way to do that is just set your non-negotiables and go from there.
Okay. I will find out what those non-negotiables are in a minute. Some examples. Okay.
Mhm.
What else are women out there? The beautiful queens, our mothers and sisters are looking out for a man. Because I still have some questions I want to ask as well. But tell us, what else are women looking out for in a man out there? And when I say man, the man, out there.
Yeah, women are looking for men who, when you're dating, like we've gotten past the first date, second date, we're actually dating, with purpose now.
Mm.
They're looking for men who, invest into the relationship the way they invest into it. So not monetarily necessarily, even though that's important, but even with time, men tend to get comfortable in relationships, and now all of a sudden their free time outside of work is spent with friends or on video games or whatever their preference may be.
Right.
And so women are really reporting just being tired of that. They want to have relationships where they feel that a man wants to invest in them. Men typically get in relationships and they feel like they've secured the woman, and so she's secure, she's there, and they move on to live the rest of their life knowing that she's there, she'll be there when I need her. She's an emotional crutch. Women are tired of playing that role because it leaves them feeling destitute. So they want to feel like, someone is investing in them, someone's going to do the things they like, someone's spending time with them, and it's not a one-sided relationship. So time management is something that women really, really admire and want in men.
Wow. I mean, that's so we want a man's time as well. I mean, as you mentioned, we want to be with friends, we want to play games, we want to, just hang out with the lads because we think we have our queen secured at home.
Right.
Sometimes as well. So we want that. So ladies want that ongoing time management with them as well.
Yeah, we want to, even though we're secured, every now and then, women want to continuously feel like they're being pursued. You know, they don't want to feel like you've just gotten used to them and just a toy that you're putting on the shelf to let dust collect and go and find a new toy possibly. They want to continuously be pursued as well. So it's a way, women want to be wanted.
Yeah.
So and men want to be wanted as well, I'm sure, but I'm just speaking from a female perspective. So we want to continuously feel that you want us, even though we're in a committed relationship.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard the saying that ladies prefer a guy who's hard on them. Is that correct?
A guy who's hard on them.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a bit more?
I mean, you're such, you're just trying to get me into that hole in it to just say all this stuff.
No.
Okay. I mean, hard as in like who doesn't show too much care, can be emotionally stingy in a way. It's not too lovey-dovey kind of thing, but it just plays hard kind of thing. Do women like that? Do women look out for that in a man? Because I've had cases where a man has said to me, you know what, I've been very emotionally, should I say, attached to this woman, and I've tried to show her like a love, I've tried to show her emotions, I've tried all this lovey-dovey stuff, and it seems not to be working kind of thing. So I mean, do women prefer men who are harder or treat them hard?
So I think that goes back to the point you made earlier about men wanting to pursue women who are maybe a little bit above them, as far as like they want to go after the high standard women. Humans have this natural drawing towards things they can't have, right? So what happens is, and I think that this goes back to the mental health of both men and women. Women do tend to show a lot of interest towards men who are not showing them a lot of interest, but that's actually probably not the most healthy way to engage in any relationship. Yeah, it may be quote unquote fun,
Right.
but it's not healthy. It's not a sign of a healthy woman or a healthy relationship. So there probably are a lot of women.
A high degree.
I don't know about a high degree, but
Okay.
there probably are a lot of women who are drawn to men who are emotionally unavailable. But that's not healthy. That's not our goal. That's not what. And I think with maturity, people's desires start to change. So maybe when she was in her 20s, she really wanted the really unavailable guy. But hopefully with age comes maturity. It doesn't always happen that way.
Mm.
So in her 30s, she probably wants something different.
I think it still goes back to the fact of, you know, women thinking they can change
Hmm.
a man that's not showing interest, and they keep almost pushing themselves in front of him and saying, I'm here, I'm here. So basically, women like men that treat them a bit harder.
Yeah, there's an old saying,
Because you just answered the question, you just answered it, but you just don't want to tell me yes.
no, no, there's an old saying. It says women marry men hoping they'll change. Men marry women hoping they'll stay the same. And the fact is, it's just, mental instability or emotional instability. And I think a lot of women do it, but I don't think it's the majority. I don't know the stats on it, but I don't think it's the majority that want emotionally unavailable men. Because that's not fun for long. It's fun for a little bit, but it's not fun for long,
Yeah. But the thing is, on the other hand, women are saying, we want someone who's honest, we want someone who's financially stable, we want someone who's goal aligned, we want someone who is emotionally stable and knows how to date as well. But this guy here, he's showing all the love, he's showing all the interest, he's chasing you up and down, he's so emotional about it, but you feel, oh my god, it's too easy.
That's not all women though, Double Nine. That's not all women.
It's possibly 8 out of 10. It's like,
8 out of 10.
Yes. It's like, oh my god, it's too easy. It's too easy. Why why does that happen?
I mean, again, I just think it's immaturity. But I think 8 out of 10 is an unfair statistic. I wish I knew the stats on that, but I don't know it. But I think that's an unfair statistic.
It's an unfair statistic. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have, what else do women look out for in a man?
Well, women really like to feel protected.
When you say protected, what do you mean by that? You got a six-pack guy, muscly guy, a thug out there.
Listen, my dad used to say, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Word.
So I don't think that it's necessarily about his physique. It's just about his mindset. Like,
amazing.
I have met some small guys, like I know he'll shake the room if something happens, and there are some big guys who are just like big teddy bears.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yeah.
So a woman just wants to feel like, look, if she's with her man, most women, again, I'm not speaking for all, if she's with her man and they're out and there's a problem, especially with another man, her man will not hesitate to step in and defend her.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you said quite a lot this evening. You've given us quite a great insight. I think I'm going to write a book. Is it April Fool's joke? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, with all the lists you've given us, I'll remind you, we're still going to touch on finances before we finish. Talk about finances, talk about honesty, talk about emotionally stable, you talk about, goal aligned, you talk about individuals who, are compatible as well. So with all that, if you're to prioritize that list coming from, we're just going to talk about the one that's number one and the one that's least important. What would you say?
Number one is going to be compatibility, of course. Because if you're compatible, all those other things are going to align,
Ladies and gentlemen.
And, I think the list, it descends, according to the individual. But I think across the board, compatibility, because how you feel, about life in general, how you feel about finances, all of that falls under that umbrella.
Okay, so what will be the least important?
The least important is this fictional table.
The fictional table, she says as well. Okay. I mean, we said quite a lot today as well, but women, it's never straightforward, isn't it? When we talk about women and what they want and what they look out for, because I still think that we can find a man who displays all these characteristics you've mentioned and all the points you've raised, and a woman's still not gonna be with that guy. She's probably going to be with the one that's like a thug or something, or the one that's not emotionally available. His honesty doesn't exist, and his financial doesn't exist as well. But not saying about the hard to play. Do you know what I mean? It's something like you talk about the maturity. I understand that. Is it that women feel safer with individuals or men who display certain type of characteristics, or opposite to what we talked about? Is it like they feel safer and think, okay, nobody else will want him, so I can have him?
Like someone who, do they feel safer with an emotionally unavailable man? Is that what you're asking?
Not emotionally available. All the lists we've had.
The opposing men.
Yeah, the opposing type of
No,
individual.
you want to know something, Double Nine? I think when you're referring to the women who get the man with all of these characteristics and still would prefer someone with different characteristics, you're actually speaking to the exceptions and not the rule. Because most women are not that mentally unstable. Most women, from my experience, if they were to find a man with these characteristics, or even most of these characteristics, they'll move forward with that man and they'll treat them nicely. And what they bring to this fictional table, I have to bring it up again, will it will be evident, because they will feel loved, they will feel protected, they will feel provided for, and so they're going to operate in all their femininity and just be a good woman to this man. But there are women like what you're speaking to who will run the other way, but they're the exception. They're not the rule. They're not the majority. I don't believe. I just don't think they're the majority. I think a lot of times, especially on social media, men use the exceptions and make an example out of them and say, look at what this woman is saying, look at what this woman is doing, when that's not the majority, and that's not fair. Whereas women, we're actually speaking about the majority of men when we're talking about the negative characteristics.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. About the negative characteristics. I mean, you would say that, isn't your woman? So you would say
yeah,
that.
I am a woman, so there's a bit of bias. But
I don't totally agree with that as well. I mean, you talk about the non-negotiables. I'm very intrigued to find out a bit more about what are these non-negotiables you talk about. I mean, I'm sure you've had a conversation with a lovely, beautiful women out there who has given you quite a number of non-negotiables that you've added to various lists. I hope it's not too long a list. I mean, just give us a bit of insight. I'm sure I for one want to know.
I'll give you three.
Okay.
About three. Let's just do. So most women have whatever their religious beliefs as non-negotiables. So a lot of women, some women don't mind converting, but a lot of women, whatever they believe religiously, they want that to be the same as their partner.
Okay.
Faithfulness is usually a non-negotiable for women. It's a non-negotiable because if they are monogamous, then they want someone who's also monogamous. And then a lot of women, yes, finances are non-negotiable, meaning that their viewpoint of financial stability must be met.
Okay.
And that can be different for a lot of different women. All women don't have the same number in mind or the same career field in mind, but that's a non-negotiable for a lot of women.
I love the fact you finished off with finances, because I think that's the topic we're going to finish on that point. Because finances seems to be a major thing that affects new relationships, an attempt to build a relationship, existing relationships. It has a huge effect on it as well, and I am a bit confused on why finances has such a major impact on relationships, because you spoke earlier about a lot of fundamentals about dating and being in a relationship seems to have been lost. As far back as I remember, I'm still that okay, don't why don't say as far, because I'm not that old. As far back as I've probably researched and done data and all of that, the financial aspect of a relationship was not a major thing. If you talk about our parents, back in the 60s, in the 70s also.
Yeah.
Even in the 80s, because 80s was more about disco, going out, to disco and all of that.
Yeah.
But things seem to have evolved into this,
absolutely
mentality where people are not talking about, if you can't match my, using your word there, if you can't match my financial status or cannot be above my financial status, I don't see any reason why I should be dating that kind of individual. Fine, that's fine. But I'm going to go back to my word again, potential.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so a lady's in a role, fictional. Okay, so she's in a role. She's earning, say, I don't know, £50,000
Mm-hmm.
a year, and she's come across an individual who's earning, say, £25,000 pounds a year, but he's so dedicated to his work.
Mm-hmm.
He's dedicated to his work. He wants to achieve more. He wants to push himself more, kind of thing. So this lady now, so I'm gonna watch this, ladies and gentlemen. So this lady has an expectation
Mm-hmm.
that they have to go to a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
and have a meal.
Mm-hmm.
They're very compatible in all ways because they've gone on a couple of dates, but she didn't realize that the guy was earning 25 grand and she was on 50 grand.
Yeah.
So but he's looked at her and looked at, oh my gosh, again, we're hunters. We want to go and hunt those high level fruits, not the low hanging ones, but sometimes we have to search for the low hanging ones if nothing happens. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah.
So now he's gone ahead and wanted to impress her, taking her to this fancy restaurant as well, and because it's the first date, right?
Mm-hmm.
And okay, she's fallen in love with him because she thinks they're compatible and all of that. But now down the line, you mentioned that the time management or spending time with that individual or being consistent in what you did or how we engaged on the first date is something that should be ongoing. But the individual is not able to afford this lifestyle.
You always start how you want to finish, Double9.
Wait. See. But now he's not able to do that. To that fine dining, on a weekly or monthly basis. So now they now have a conversation, and he reveals to her that I earn 25,000, and she's like, oh my god, I actually earn double you earn.
Mm-hmm.
So expectation there.
Mm-hmm.
What does she do?
Well,
with expectation.
That entire scenario is his fault. He set an expectation he couldn't keep.
She says it's his fault.
Yeah, you always begin how you want to finish. If you understand that this is not your norm, you can't typically afford this type of dinner. You can't typically afford this type of restaurant. Then it should not be used as a mechanism to, woo a woman and bring her into your life. Take her somewhere you can afford. If it's, I don't want to say any brand names. I don't want to give any free advertisement, but if it's a lower brand restaurant, then take her there. Don't start so high up with some type of goal of, manipulating her, because it's manipulation.
Lies. I don't believe that. It's not manipulation.
It's manipulation. It is manipulation. It absolutely is.
Because on the first date, you want to impress her, innit? You want to impress her. You want to take her to a lovely place.
Yeah, but there's
social media now, because the girl is going to go on the phone and take pictures of where she is,
mm-hmm.
and the food and all of that, and all her friends are going to comment and say, oh my god, where are you? What? Why are you there? What? You can't be going there.
Well, she doesn't have to accept. Listen, once you tell her where you're going, she doesn't have to accept if she feels like it's beneath her. I don't think that will be the
it's
norm
not beneath
for.
Her. It's a fancy place. But the thing is now,
I'm saying if he proposes one he can actually afford, because this fancy place he can't really afford that on a regular basis.
Yeah, I understand that. But what I'm trying to get across here is the expectation of the lady
mm-hmm.
was trying to be met by this gentleman because they're compatible, and
they're not compatible if he can't meet all her expectations. If he can't afford her expectations, they're not actually compatible.
Guys, I tried, mate. I tried.
They're not actually compatible. And you said something else about, finances wasn't a big thing in the 60s and the 70s for our grandparents and so forth and so on. And that's true for two reasons. One, because women were not in the workforce at the rate they are now. So finances were solely decided and provided by men. The men of the household would typically provide for the entire house. Now we see that women work because they have to, in order to support themselves. And so that's one difference. And another difference is that we've just seen an increase of cost of living and inflation, and the salary has not matched. So we understand that as well. So finances are important. I started this show tonight with a fact, which is over 51% of marriages in the United States of America end because of finances. So finances have to be important. in the decision to enter into a relationship, because it's definitely important in the decision to end one.
Fantastic. I love the point you made.
Mhm.
Amazing. That you gave us stats of in the 60s, in 60s to the 80s, less women were in the workplace and earning, right?
Yeah.
At that time, a lot of relationships were stable. A lot of relationships were okay. There was less rate of divorce. You would agree, right?
Yeah.
But now women in the workplace, and now there's a high rate of instability in a relationship. There's divorce, all of that,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not earning as well.
Mm-hmm.
So finances is now a negative impact. It caused a negative impact within the dating scene.
Yeah, but there are a lot of other factors that have to be considered as well, which I don't think we have time to discuss them all. But yes, women entering to the workforce, it did change the dynamics of the traditional home,
Yep.
right? Some for the good, some for the not so good. But it was something they had to do for survival.
Fantastic. Okay, we got a call from one of our amazing listeners. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Fantastic. So, do you have a comment or a question?
A comment, yes. What do women want?
Okay.
A man.
So, please tell us. It seems like you. Do you agree with all the points she's made so far?
I'm sorry, please. Can you? I'm actually just calling in, and I've not listened to. I'm not able to listen to all that's been said so far.
Okay, it's fine. You tell us. You tell us what you think women want.
Okay. A woman wants someone who is straightforward,
Okay.
who fears God. For those that believe in God, someone who is straightforward, morally upright, somebody who knows what it means to be a responsible person, who is responsible, who is generally, who has gotten himself together, who has his act together, who is confident, someone who has something he's doing. He may not be fetching millions, you understand, but at least the person is actively engaged and thinking about, how to make his life better, like a hustler.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, the kind of person a woman wants. If he's generous, also. If he's kind, if he's, not just kind to her, kind to people generally, he has a sweetheart, awesome.
Okay. I mean, you said exactly, same thing as our amazing, guest host on the show have said, but in a different form. But I think it's the same. But I mean, do you think women also look for potential in men?
Yes, the average woman also look at potential. That's why, what is this guy likely to be, tomorrow? What kind of person is he? Somebody who is already responsible, who knows what he wants out of life, who is looking at, someone who is ambitious, who is looking at, I want this, I want that. He may not have those things now, but, he's projecting and sharing his plans with you and telling you his heart. You want to speak with somebody like that. You understand? The person may not be wealthy right now or anything, but at least you know that he has potential. You know that tomorrow is bright. You know that, a few years down the line with your support, and all of that, things will get better for him and also for you,
Okay.
Yes, basically.
I want to say thank you very much. I think you've hit the nail on the head there as well. I mean, BPJ, do you have any questions or you want to ask or say to our caller as well?
Thank you for sharing. When it comes to potential, do you think potential depends on age?
Do I think potential depends on age?
Yes. Like, are you willing to accept more potential from a guy depending on his age?
No, I wouldn't say depends. The potential depends on age. It's almost like saying if somebody is older, the person is matured or wiser. No, I've dated somebody who was younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated somebody older than me, so I've discovered, I learned that age has nothing to do with maturity. My
Okay.
best friend, my best is engaged, she's in a relationship and they'll be getting married this year. He's like a decade younger than me and he's very wise. He's somebody I talk to, we talk a lot. He's wise, basically. I'm in my 40s, he's in his early 30s. So, it's not a function of age. A family friend of ours, he was teaching and he had done this ICANN exam like, over 9 times. Over 9 times. Before he got, I think it was the 10th attempt he passed. And it was later in his life, that was how he got a plum job. All this while he had been teaching. But I think when he got into it, when he got into his 60s, he got a very good job. They live in a very, nice place in, location in Lagos. The job comes with so many perks. When he turned 60 something, that was when, things started really, really looking up for him. So I don't think it's not a function of age, it's not a function of age at all. Anything can just happen at any time. A little kid today can just, become something, somebody that the whole world is like, wow, who is this person? A problem solver. Or somebody in his 40s and 50s, that could just be the person's time. That's the way I see it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Amazing. Thank you again for always being a supportive listener here on Double9 Radio. Keep listening and make sure you tell a friend about Double9 Radio. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I love the last point she made that it's not dependent on age. Is that something you agree with or not?
You know what? I really enjoyed listening to the caller. I think she had some very good points. I can't say I 100% agree. I think recently there's been a therapist who was quoted saying that potential is not real. Either a person is or they're not. And I can't say I 100% agree with the quote, but I think what would be more valid is to say that potential is not as important as we make it. I think we should date people intentionally for who they are, and it will save on a lot of disappointment, because potential is just that. It's potential. It is the potential to be, but it doesn't mean you necessarily will be.
Amazing. It's a potential to be, or it doesn't mean you necessarily would be. So that disqualifies a man from a woman.
I didn't say it disqualifies. I think some women are comfortable dating with potential, and I think that's great. I've seen it work out. As the examples the caller gave, it works out for some women, but it doesn't work out for all.
Wow. I mean, you know what? We could stay here all day. As I said, I mean, last time I had the show where I talked about what men look out for in a woman, I mean, I wrapped up within an hour. But now we're talking about women today. It's almost like we're opening an encyclopedia, and I don't think we're going to finish as well. Maybe we can convince BPJ to come on another show where we dive more into some of the aspects within what women are looking for. I mean, we talked about quite a number of things today. We talked about finances, which was a big one, I think, as well. We talked about honesty and faithfulness. We talked about being goal aligned. We talk about being emotionally stable as well. We talk about things around dating as well. We talk about non-negotiables as well. I think we spoke about quite a number of things. I'm feeling exhausted already. I think I'm going to start my book today, ladies and gentlemen. As well. I mean, it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
Thank you.
I think the key words, I would say, we talk about potential. Potential, I think it's still debatable. The caller said yes. BPJ says maybe not, kind of thing. But again, it's subjective to who's up there. But my take on today's show is knowing what women want it's not something easy, should I say. It's not as straightforward as what it could be. I think it's more complicated from in comparison to what a man wants, I think. In my opinion, a woman might say different.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say is it's fine to have certain standards. It's fine to have expectations. But how long do you become inflexible, if I got that word right, around your expectations and what you're looking for? because no one's going to be perfect.
Mhm.
But yes, you need to have the non-negotiables.
Right.
Again, are you flexible on those so-called non-negotiables as well? Yes, we talk about religion. We talk about finances. And what was the third one again, man?
Religion, finances, and
We can't, it wasn't that very, it wasn't that
I'm
important.
having a brain freeze.
It wasn't that important. So maybe that was, yeah. But the thing is,
honesty and faithfulness.
okay, honest and faithfulness. So the non-negotiables, are they a barrier to finding that true love? Or are they the barrier that you need to put in place to have? I'm not asking a question, I'm just putting it out there. To put in place, because women, we love you. Men love you so much, kind of thing. But the fact of she mentioned about the men that take flowers, I've never heard about that as well. I need to go and do a bit of research on that. That's worrying. Worrying. If your man you're accepting flowers, what's wrong with ya? Stop accepting flowers. What's wrong with you? Anyway, I just think like it's good to have demands. It's very important because that's what's going to make you happy, isn't it? That's what's good. We're all looking for that euphoria type of happiness. That happiness where you're happy to be with this person. You're compatible. There's no 100% of compatibility, but you. Do you become flexible? I don't know. We're just putting it out there. I don't know. Women, again, it's been amazing. I've learned quite a lot today. PBJ, I want to say a big thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
This evening as well. Hopefully we can convince you to come back on the show to give us a bit more insight, because you tagged yourself as a research
a social researcher.
A social researcher as well, which is gives us a bit more in depth into the mindset of people out there as well, because social media is just not the place to get those mindset as well. But what would be your words of encouragement, or just words to women listening to you right now, who's thinking to themselves, yes, I have non-negotiables. Yes, I'm looking for someone I'm compatible with. Yes, I agree with some of the points you say. But I'm still unsure. I'm lonely. I want someone. What would you say to them?
I would definitely say, choose your hard time. Being lonely is hard, but also being with someone you're not compatible with and who is violating all of your non-negotiables is hard as well. So just choose your hard time.
Choose your hard time as well. She likes dropping his germs, isn't it? Choose your hard time as well. BPJ, it's been amazing having you on the show this evening. I've had such a great time on the show. Hopefully we can get you back on the show and have another in-depth conversation. I've totally enjoyed myself having a conversation this evening. I hope you have as well.
Yeah, I have. And another thing I want to say is that, to women, that one can come, patience is a virtue. So I didn't want to leave it on such a, a down note. But if you're waiting, you have to choose. Are you going to wait patiently or not? So
how long are you going to wait for? I just thought I'd drop that in there. But anyway, it's been amazing having you on the show today. It's been 35NSocial. Make sure you do follow us on Instagram to get up-to-date information of amazing programs on this amazing platform as well. And also, we are also on YouTube, and so just search Double9 Radio, all one word, to catch this episode and other episodes we've had on this amazing platform. It's been amazing having BPJ on the show. Hopefully, you've had a great time as well. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in this evening as well. And if it's your first time on the show, welcome to the Double9 Radio family. Do make sure you do tell a friend to tell a friend about Double9 Radio, and let's make the family bigger. It's been amazing. It's been wonderful. It's your host, Double9 on 35NSocial here on Double9 Radio. Peace. I love you all. But in the meantime, stay locked on, because as you know, we always give you some amazing Saturday vibes here on Double9 Radio.